Hey, everybody, welcome to writing. I know writing and grammar is one of the most difficult things to do, but if you hang in there, it gets easier and easier and easier. And remember that every time you read a book, it started with a great writer. And so writing is everything. You write everywhere you go in life, you read everywhere you go in life. So this week, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be connecting sentences together. So we're going to look at a picture. We're going to say, okay, what could we write about first, and then second, and then third? Because next week we're going to start working with paragraphs, and we're going to talk about the parts of a paragraph. We're going to look at how sentences connect together on a thought, because you have written good sentences now that are one thought, and now we need to start connecting them and making it into a meaningful paragraph or a group of sentences. Your sentences will always have a capital, punctuation, a subject, a predicate with a verb, and at least one adjective. Because remember, the adjectives are your color words. They're what paints the picture in the reader's mind. All right, so let's review. Great sentences are one thought. The hail covered the parking lot at Clear Creek. They don't go on and on. Like, the hail covered the parking lot at Clear Creek, and I thought it was cool. And then I went out and played in it, and then I saw that it was going away. It's one thought. The hail covered the parking lot at Clear Creek. All right. They have a subject, the hail, those little ice pellets that we had the other day. All right. So one subject. They have an action, covered. Okay. Covered. What did it cover, and where did it cover it? And that is a great sentence. Okay. Now what they have is they begin with a capital letter. So you have a capital at the beginning of your sentence. Great sentences end with a punctuation mark. It can be a period. It can be a question. It can be an exclamation point. So listen to how these sentences change by the punctuation mark. The hail covered the parking lot at Clear Creek. Did you see the hail cover the parking lot? Wow, the hail totally covered the parking lot at Clear Creek. How you use those punctuation marks is telling your reader to stop and think about how the sentence is said. All right? Now, adjectives. Adjectives always describe a noun. They are the color, size, how many, sound, shape, smell, how they look, or how they act. Ghosts, well, they're the scary ghosts. Peanut, they're the small, little tiny peanut. Spinach, disgusting, green. All right, they describe the noun. Feet, stinky. Boogers, salty. All right. So if you don't have adjectives, you don't have color, size, shape, smell, how they act, how they look. They're the ones that make our writing fun. All right. Now, what is your job today? If you're listening to this, you're going to know your job. So you may want to pause this and replay it, or really listen to me right now, because I'm not giving instructions on what your job is again. You will have a picture, and you will write 3 connected thoughts to go with that picture. So you're going to write 3 sentences today. You're going to look at it and write the first thing that would probably happen, the second thing that would happen, and the third thing that would happen, which is a sequence. You're going to look for punctuation and capitals. You're going to make sure that it is one thought and that it happens kind of in the order that you would see it in the picture happen. That's your job today and your directions. All right, what is connecting sentences? Great writers always connect their sentences. The sentences relate to a topic, which is like a main idea. A topic is something you are talking about or one thing that you're thinking about. All right? It's a main idea. That's what a topic is. It's kind of like thinking about an umbrella. And you have the pole of the umbrella, and then the umbrella covers you. That is what the main idea is. It's what are you talking about, or one thing you're thinking about. And then you write several sentences to go with that one thing. It could be a book, it could be rain, it could be Halloween, it could be a garden. Those are all topics. And then you have to choose what you're going to write about. Are you going to write about spooky books and write 3 sentences about that? Are you going to write about rain and write 3 sentences or 4 sentences about that? That's what connecting means. Connecting means to hook together on one thing you're thinking or talking about. Okay, so a sequence means what happened first, what happened second, what happened third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, and so on. It's very important that you think in an organized way when you're a writer. And then connected just means that you don't go all over everywhere. So if you have a topic of a garden and you write one sentence about a garden, and you write one sentence about school, and you write one sentence about what you had for dinner, those are not connected. All right? Now, let's see how to do it. So when I look at that picture, I see a mom and a daughter because I've already listened to the story. I see a person in the window. I see a garden. So then I think to myself, how could I write a sentence to the reader that starts out with what those people are doing? So my first sentence would be, the little girl and her mother worked in their garden. The little girl and her mother worked in their garden. That's the first thing that I see them doing, because I see the shovels, which is a vocabulary word, in the ground. I see little worms. I see, I think, a dog back there actually with a person with a hat on, another person working in a garden. Okay, now I connect the second sentence with it. And I ask myself, okay, they're working in their garden. Well, what are they working with? They're working with shovels. So I say they used shovels to dig holes in the ground. I don't go like this. There is a mom and girl, and they are in the garden. They use shovels. I actually put enough in there that people start to see, okay, there's a little girl and her mother worked in the garden, and it's past tense. So my second sentence is going to be past tense. They use shovels to dig holes in the ground. And then my third sentence is they planted lots of vegetables in their garden. Now that is a sequence. First they're working, next they use shovels, and last they planted the vegetables. It's connected because it's all about a garden. It goes first, second, third, and that is connected, 3 connected sentences. Okay, let's see another example. Okay, so remember, sequence is first, second, third. What happens first? What happens next? What happens last? And connected means that you stay on your topic. Is it have to do with the garden? Yes, because we can see that. So we start looking at this picture now. Now we see that neighbor a little bit closer. And we see the mom and the little girl waving to the neighbor. We see the dog there. We know they're still in the garden. We know now that they've stopped working because we see them holding their shovels and we no longer see them digging. We know that there's a new action there because they're saying hello, it looks like, because they're smiling. All right, so do you see how much effort I put into thinking before I start writing? Okay, so let's see how to do it now. The little girl and her mother stopped working in their garden. Okay, because I know from the previous picture that they stopped working. I could have said the little girl and her mother were standing in their garden. Okay. The next sentence is they saw their neighbor sitting in her garden. See how I did it before I have them waving? And then the last one would be they waved and smiled at their neighbor. So then I read it all together and I go, the little girl and her mother stopped working in their garden. They saw their neighbor setting it in her garden. They waved and smiled at their neighbor. All right. And that's what it means to connect your thoughts together. And it's not disorganized, meaning that it's not all out of order. It isn't like this, too. I see two girls in the garden. One girl is waving, the dog is setting. Do you see the difference? So that you're starting to go, okay, I have to connect my ideas. The little girl and her mother stopped working in their garden. They saw their neighbor setting in her garden. They waved and smiled at their neighbor. And that is connected and it's in sequence because it's what happened first, second, and third. Then I just check and I go capital, punctuation, capital, punctuation, capital, punctuation. Read it to somebody and see if it makes sense. And then I would be done. All right. So let's wrap it up. Writing is all about putting your thoughts and ideas on paper. It is about expressing feelings in an organized way. Now it is your turn to connect your sentences and remember the directions I gave you earlier in the video. I know you will do an outstanding job writing today. Be creative. Look carefully at that picture and please start to enjoy writing because some of you may grow up and write books. And it started right here in second grade as you learned to write really good sentences. Have a great day.